if you don't do the sketching bit, most likely you will not satisfy the client. So that's how you go basically through the process of working on a commissioned piece of artwork. My artworks, there's what I do for clients, which is based on what the client wants, and then there is now what an artist does as their own work, your philosophy. Hello everyone, my name is Kevin Ndege. I'm a visual artist. I'm a Kenyan, and yes, I'm a visual or fine artist, if you want to, if you may. This is what I do from Monday to Saturday. It's my career basically, and I'm in the process of creating an abstract piece for a client. It's a commissioned piece, part of a collection of artworks that are supposed to be delivered for a dining hall. So the theme has everything to do with around food and how it's served, and the ambience around dining hall. I started doing art way back when I was in nursery school. The first picture I drew was of my father when he was reading a newspaper, and ever since then I've never looked back. Being an artist is not something that I would say I studied to be. I'm a trained mathematician. I studied by Bachelor of Science, maths major in the university. My parents never really wanted the idea of a career in the arts, but here we are. So we went to the university, did all that, studied Bachelor of Science, maths major, was employed for 1 year in an insurance firm, and then I quit employment and decided to pursue a career in the arts. It's been 10 years down the line, and I have no regrets so far. It's really interesting. It's sort of an adventure, if you may. So many ups and downs, but it makes the whole experience worth it. There is nothing as satisfying as creating, just waking up in the morning and having these ideas, and sometimes you don't know where that artwork is going to take you to. It's sort of like you're freestyling, and you're also expecting to surprise yourself with what you will create at the end of the day. And it's so satisfying in the evening or at the end of a piece of artwork when you look back and you're like, wow, I made all this. So yeah, it's a nice feeling to be a creative. It's a very nice feeling. It's so satisfying, and there's also nothing as satisfying as the satisfaction that a client shows when what you've done for them is so good, and they're so satisfied and so happy with it. So for me, that makes my day. I'm also an illustrator. I've worked with all publishers in this country, and I currently work with Macmillan South Africa only. I do illustrations for book publishers, kids' books. I've been doing that for 10 years. I've been painting professionally for the last 4 years. Yes, and here we are. Working on this piece. It's an acrylic on canvas piece. I also work with oils, and I also do digital art. That's how I do my illustrations, using a Wacom tablet and on Photoshop. A client has a vision and they have the blueprint in their head, and they'll try as much as possible to share with you what they have in their head, the vision that they have. So it's up to you to try to get as much as you can from them. We usually work with briefs. I call them a brief. A client gives you a brief, and then you're supposed to interpret the brief and bring out what they envision for their space and the kind of artwork that they want. And sometimes you miss it, sometimes you get it, sometimes you exceed expectation. It's part of life, it's part of creative process. But it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of practice, and it takes a lot of handling clients' briefs to be able to interpret a client's brief successfully and bring forth what they envision, what they want. The best way to go about it is to work from the sketching stage. I mean, don't go to this canvas direct without sketching. It's good to sketch, sketch the vision, have as many sketches as possible, share with the client, and do corrections as much as you can, so that by the time you are at the stage of now doing the final piece, you are more or less on the same page, and the client kind of has a pictorial idea of what to expect on canvas. If you don't do the sketching bit, most likely you will not satisfy the client. So that's how you go basically through the process of working on a commissioned piece of artwork. My artworks, there's what I do for clients, which is based on what the client wants, and then there is now what an artist does as their own work. Your philosophy. How do you communicate your ideas? How do you there's what you want to communicate as a person. How do you go about that? And if you notice, you would see that the work that I'm doing for the client right now, in this case, is totally different from my work, my body of work. My body of work, I'm in that stage where I'm kicking out colors and I'm experimenting with gold, silver, and bronze. And that is very intentional because I want to get guys off the beauty of art, the aesthetic beauty. Oh, this is colorful, it's nice. Well, that's okay, it has its own place. But with the kind of art where you're communicating something, and something very important and deep, it's important that you get your audience off the colors and the aesthetics. It's like you're stripping the piece and you're making it so bare, so that when somebody comes face to face that piece of artwork, they're hit with the message straight away. The first question they ask you is, what is this piece about? What are you communicating here? And once you get to that level, now it's like you're removing all the clutter, if I may call it that way, so that you get straight to the message you're communicating, and then you stimulate a discourse on that message. So you asked me a question about moving from what you're trained to do to the arts as a career. It's not easy. Let me not lie to you. It's not easy. It's very difficult, and it needs someone who's so focused, someone who has a vision, someone who's willing to pay the price to switch careers, especially if you've been trained to a white collar job, and an art is basically a blue collar job. And switching sometimes might not be so easy, especially when you know that you don't have a salary. And again, there are chances that your folks or your next of kin are going to, disown you or excommunicate you, if you may. I went through all that. I was rejected by my family for choosing to, stop pursuing a career in mathematics and sciences, which is what I did in college, and pursue a career in the arts. So the first couple of years were so hard. They thought I was crazy, and no one wanted to communicate with me until they started seeing the money, and they're like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. So it all boils down to your strategy, because if your strategy is poor, most likely it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to pay your bills. You're not going to be able to feed yourself, clothe yourself. Live a normal life like every other person. But if you have all that figured out, then a career in art can be very enjoyable and highly rewarding. Actually, it's more rewarding financially than even being employed, if I dare say that. Yeah, thank you. When I say it's not easy pursuing a career in the arts, what I really mean is that you need money to create, because these things are not cheap. Art materials are expensive. The process of production is expensive. And you want to sell to recoup your money and be able to keep on producing. But I would probably encourage you to have a strategy. Don't just be an artist for art's sake. Unless really you come from a wealthy background and you have some benefactors who are able to fund you and fund your lifestyle, and so you have no problem even if you don't sell, even if you don't get commissions. That's fine. That's another way of doing it. But if you really want to make money off this career, you must have a strategy. How are you going to make your sales? How are you going to scout for your clients? How are you going to scout for projects? How do you maximize and make sure that you make an income of what you're doing? So it will also help if you have people in different sectors who are able to make up support structures for you. For example, you're a creative, you're not so good with paperwork. You'd have somebody do the paperwork for you. You'd have somebody else do, the marketing bit for you. You'd have somebody else do you know, the shouting out, I mean, the media thing and all that, you know, you'd sign up with a gallery, and then galleries are very good at doing such kind of stuff, so that you just concentrate and focus on the work that you're doing. But then again, if you're good in doing all that, then you can still do all that. You can still plan your week in a way that you have days where you do the paperwork, you have days where you go out there to market your work, you have days where you're going out there to scout for, you know, new projects, you know, you get people to partner with, and so forth and so on. And then you have days that you dedicate to just specifically being in the studio and doing the actual work of producing the artworks. So depends on what works for you, and how you get to achieve your desired end.